So I got a theory that, Ryan Garcia, King Rye, probably the most popular fighter in the sport of boxing right now, doesn't know what weight class to fight at. He doesn't know where he belongs because we all talked about, the controversy surrounding that Devin Haney rematch where Ryan missed weight by several pounds. Devin Haney was offered money to fight anyways. Team Haney accepted, and the fight was what it was, right? We saw Devin Haney take a tremendous and hellacious beatdown from Ryan Garcia. Ryan landing that left hook at will, cracked Devin Haney in the first round, and it was all she wrote from then. Devin Haney wasn't able to keep Ryan off of him to avoid that left hook. He won rounds, made it a relatively competitive fight, but for the most part, the story was clear and the outcome was evident and clear, just based off Devin Haney's face. You could see that Devin wasn't Devin. He didn't fight the way that we had anticipated. I hear a lot of stories about Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia in the amateurs, and it's interesting because I remember Virgil Ortiz saying that Devin always brought something out of Ryan Garcia even when they were kids. Even when they were kids, Devin wouldn't want to box how he usually did. He wouldn't stick to the fundamentals like he typically would, and it was something almost weird, almost like he wanted to always prove something to Ryan Garcia time in and time out and, show that he could fight with him toe-to-toe. And that's what got Devin Haney in trouble. And Devin's honestly, talked about it. He's been outspoken about the fact that sometimes his heart gets him in trouble. And to see Devin Haney ultimately get cracked like that by Ryan Garcia really shocked me. It shocked the rest of the boxing world. I mean, we all wrote Ryan Garcia's obituary in terms of, him losing to Devin by a boring fight, by a unanimous decision. We thought that Devin had the talent to outpoint Ryan Garcia, who would seem to be, the more talented when it came to that left hook, but that was really the only weapon that Devin had to worry about. But that turned out to not be the case. But, you look at Devin Haney, you look at the skills, and you think he's going to cruise to a decision. And, physically, he's a strong and athletic kid as well. So maybe he outmatches Ryan in that department. No, Ryan's timing and his explosiveness clearly was the story of the Devin Haney fight. So it's all about timing beating speed, and sometimes talent beats the fundamentals. And that's the truth about the sport of boxing. We should all remember that quote that, if you fail to work hard, talent doesn't really matter. But also, sometimes talent makes up for hard work. That's just how it is. And we saw that with Devin Haney. He did everything right in that training camp, but ultimately Ryan Garcia's talent, his mind games, and Devin's lack of an ability to lock in on the fight and purely the fight got him in a lot of trouble, right? So it's just an interesting fight. It's an interesting fight for Ryan Garcia against Rolly Romero. And I talked about the weight because I think it's an interesting topic, because we are hearing all that, Bill Haney accusing Ryan Garcia of ultimately not really being in shape for this fight. I'll be real. I looked at Ryan Garcia. I wanted to see how physically ready he looked as a fighter. But to me, if I'm being honest, I think Ryan Garcia didn't look like the Ryan Garcia, at least the Ryan Garcia that's been so successful prior to the Devin Haney fight. It didn't look like he was really chiseled, like he was super strong, super cut up and ripped. It looked like he had a good training camp. I'm sure he worked hard, but the definition of his body didn't seem to, show that element of, I belong at 147. It more so looked like, judging from Ryan's physique, that he could still fight at 140. We're talking about how he didn't think he was able to make the weight. Ryan Garcia said he wasn't able to make the weight against Devin Haney, but that was when he was drinking and smoking. So taking that into account, him sobering up and ultimately taking all the distractions away from him and all the substances and the alcohol, taking that out of the equation, you gotta take some pounds off for that to account for it. And I think with taking that into account, Ryan Garcia probably stays at 140, but he balloons up and fights at 147, where Rolly actually needs to fight at 147. So that could cause some problems, and Rolly could very well be the stronger fighter, especially if Ryan Garcia is feeling a little bit skinny and a little bit, weaker than Rolly, because Rolly looks in tip-top physical shape, and if they both make weight, I have a feeling that Rolly's going to be the naturally bigger fighter in there, and that could dictate the outcome of the fight. I still pick Ryan, but it really could dictate the outcome of the fight, and I'd give Rolly a decent chance of pulling off the upset. But I'm still going to rock with Ryan, but very close fight because both guys are unpredictable, both guys are defensively irresponsible. It calls for a great night. It calls for a knockout performance. Hopefully we get it, and hopefully my pick is right. I'm going to go with Ryan Garcia by 5th round stoppage. But let me know in the comments what you guys think. Thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe. And you guys know, I'll catch you guys on the next Naz Boxing video. Peace.